All hail.
You know, I've often said that the modern internet is where intelligent thought goes to die. And no more is this evident in the wake of Ian Watkins being murdered in prison, and the sheer number of sentient grease pits and grotty troglodytes that I have seen on threads, on Instagram, on Facebook, wherever, going on about how Ian Watkins is probably down in hell making friends with Charlie Kirk. See, I haven't commented on the whole Charlie Kirk thing because while I've got plenty to say about it, I'm not really entirely familiar with the man. But from what I can ascertain, he never actually did anything. Like, the man's never done anything too evil or abhorrent or disgusting. Certainly not evil enough to be lumped in with a literal baby rapist. The worst I can tell is this dude said a lot of shit that a lot of people didn't like, specifically those on the far left. So, where does this fucking comparison even begin? Like, I get that the internet is a much, much stupider place. I get that nuance keeps decaying further and further the longer we're on this fucking cesspit. But where's the logic and reasoning? Guy who said shit you don't like? Rapist. Said mean things? Molested babies. Where's the correlation? Of course, it's always guys that look like this. Like, dudes you know would get beaten up at school. Guys that you know aren't fucking up on any sort of actual social play and generally have no idea how logical thought works. It's always dudes that look like this, grease pits, that will argue these stupid, intellectually dishonest far-left ideals. But don't get me wrong, the far right isn't exactly guilt-free as far as things like this happen. See, the Ian Watkins comparison is stupid. It's fucking ridiculous. But the whole Charlie Kirk thing by itself, it's proven to me, from all the shit I've seen, that far left and far right aren't as different as people like to think it is. Because it's always the non-binaries, it's always the them theys, it's always the blue hairs, it's always the ugly girls with glasses and shitty haircuts, or greasy ugly guys with a horrible tooth-to-gum ratio, sitting there, arguing shit that sounds very, very right-wing, except with a few names changed. You see, you get these leftists that sit there, and they go on about some of the things that some of the very, very far-right say. And there are a lot of fucking hideous things the very, very far-right says that disgust me. But you've got people on the far-right who've gone out, and they have done shit things to people that say things they don't like, or that have been in the wrong place at the wrong time, so to speak. But then you've got people on the far left celebrating when it happens to one of these fuckwits. So you've got a bunch of far leftists celebrating, crowing, jerking themselves off to the fact Charlie Kirk's dead because he said some shit they don't like. How is that any difference to Hillbilly von Banjostein fucking doing the exact same thing when someone from the far left gets beaten up or hurt or killed or worse for saying some shit they don't like? You are two sides of the same fucking coin, whether you like to admit it or not. The far left and the far right are both steeped in fucking one-eyed, biased stupidity more than anything, in my not-so-humble opinion. And when people are getting murdered for saying things that people don't like, as Steve said, you are hitting very fucking dangerous territory. You don't like what Charlie Kirk said. Okay. It might be some horrible shit where it pertains to you. I understand if you don't like it. But when you're going, this dude said a lot of shit I don't like, therefore Mecca is that he popped a bullet, or copped a bullet. Okay, so where do you draw the line? Is there a limit to the number of things you think people should say? Is there a limit to the type of things you think people should say? Because it's very, very stifling free speech. And shooting people for saying things you don't like crosses over into fascism. It's no different to Nazi Germany censoring any political enemies or people saying shit they don't like. And people can say that's a logical fallacy, but it's the only thing I can think of. You are boasting, you are celebrating, you are enjoying someone being kept in the fucking head because they said some mean shit you don't like. That's fucking ridiculous. And to then tie it into some guy who was in jail for raping babies. That's fucking weird. That is very, very, very weird. And just proves to me that there seems to be no nuance in anything, and that this political derangement syndrome is very weird. Because why are people even bringing politics into Ian Watkins getting his throat slit at all? You know, I've also seen people saying, oh, well, Charlie Kirk mindsets are what lead to the type of people like Ian Watkins. How? You got people trying to tie it to Jeffrey Epstein and Donald Trump somehow. It's all crazy, silly bullshit that isn't linked together. It's just a bunch of fuckwits who have made politics and their gender identity and whatever, their whole fucking crux of their being, trying to tie unrelated shit together just so they can fucking kick politics again into somewhere it doesn't belong. It's fucking tiresome. It is not normal behaviour. Saying some nasty shit is nowhere near the evil of raping babies. And if you think it is, you need a fucking reality check. Grow up. Nuance is a thing, and not everybody you don't like is Hitler incarnate because they said some shit you don't like. It's time to grow up, kids, and actually be honest. More honest. Because once people can start being honest, you can start having sensible dialogue. Not over-the-top, insane, hyperbolic diatribes. It's just fucking silly, man. It is absolutely fucking ridiculous. Ian Watkins is dead. That's a fucking wonderful thing. He's a child-molesting piece of shit. But that's something he's done. Not some guy saying some shit that you don't like. There is a fucking massive difference in that, and if you can't see that, you either need your head read or a very big fucking reality check. Just saying. I'm Damian Skyfire. Till next time.